Hola, hola. This is your boy Tico Trend, and this is gonna be a race relations video. Tico Trend's race relations video, basically. I'm gonna talk about um basically questions that people ask me all the time. Just random things because of who my grandparents were and great grandparents were, basically. Um, here go the questions. Question one, Tico. Being that your great granddad's from Palenque and your granddad grew up in Palenque, do you consider yourself a peso or a Rolo? To answer that question, both. I consider myself both. And it depends on the situation and the context that I'm actually in. It literally depends on the situation that I'm put in, basically. Some people will tell you I'm a Rolo, and some people will tell you I'm a peso. Um, for those of you who don't know, that's actually a Colombian term. Um, that's a Colombian term, basically. Um, yeah, but I am. Most people refer to me as a peso, but a lot of people were referred to me as a Rolo. Um, what that means basically is it's two totally different ends of the spectrum, basically, when it comes down to it, and it basically depends on the situation that I'm put in. Like in America, 10 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times, I will be considered a Rolo. Um, but like to close friends and family, I'd be considered a peso. Um, if you're like, you got to be like literally in my inner circle, basically, or actual friends, not like fake friends. You actually got to be actual friends in our family. But like most people that are near and dear to me or hold very close to me were referred to me as a peso. Um, some people will refer to me as a Rolo. Um, that's pretty much that question. Um, the second question was Tico Trend. Considering that you grew up in 3 out of 5 of those, three out of four of the areas on your flag on your thumbnail, where do you most identify? Well, the name of this channel is Tico Trend. For those of you who don't know what that actually means, that means Costa Rican train. That's what it pretty much loosely translates to, and it's actually reverse. It should be Trend Tico, but yeah, but yeah, that means Costa Rican train. So I'll always identify and hold Costa Rica near and dear to me. Basically, I spent most of my life in Costa Rica, so that's what I'm used to. Um, for those of you who don't know, I actually grew up in Nicoya. Um, my grandma still visited Bribri, which is south of Nicoya, much south of Nicoya, basically. So we visited Bribri quite often, basically. As a matter of fact, me and my siblings used to go there to basically do almost like what they would consider a summary program here, or like after schooly program in America, basically, where we would learn to braid, hunt, fish, cook, sew, knit, create like various things like weapons and shit like that, basically blacksmithing and weaponry, various stuff like that, basically. um a lot of that stuff actually stuck with me. um Matter of fact, everything I learned in that Bree village stuck with me. I couldn't even begin the leather works, basically, the you name it, basically. We used to learn it there. We learned culture, we learned history, we learned everything in there. It basically would be equivalent to the Caribbean the Caribbean collective thing, basically. Yeah, it was very lovely. I actually had structure. I learned structure, and I learned a lot through that, basically. So I actually will always call Costa Rica home, no matter the fuck what's going on, basically. Um, yeah, that was a bit long winded. Next question Tico, how did you go from Jamaica to Costa Rica? Well, answer to that question is basically what had happened was when I was going to school when I was much younger. I was like first grade to like about second grade, kindergarten to like second grade basically. There was this kid that was on my bus that used to fuck with me all the time, day in and day out. Mind you, this was going on for about from kindergarten to about second grade before I got fed up with it, basically. So think about how long it takes you to get from kindergarten to second grade, and this is how long I basically put up with this shit. So this kid used to fuck with me, used to Porsche me, pick on me, poke me, prod me, basically. And if you ever met me, I have a very high tolerance for a lot of shit. And I'm willing to accept some shit and let some shit go, basically. If I believe that you're just stupid and you don't really learn too well, basically. So it's actually insulting to the person when I'm actually letting shit go that long. But I have a shit ton of patience. So kindergarten, this dude was fucking with me. Now, mind you, this dude was in when I was in kindergarten, this kid was in first grade. Yeah, this kid was in first grade, and that was a pretty scrawny kid. So kindergarten passes, he's still fucking with me. He's fucking with me. He used to mess with me, take my stuff, throw my shit on the ground, shit like that, hit me, push me, kick me, stupid shit like that. First grade, he was in second grade, I was in first grade. Did the same fucking shit over and over again. I let this shit slide all the way through first grade. Second grade, I was in second grade, he was in third grade. Same thing over and over again. Was fucking with me, pick with me, spit, all that other great stuff, called me names, stupid stuff like that. So this time, I don't know what emboldened this kid to do it. He decided to be cool to spit on me. Whoo! Wrong idea, was it? So, if you know anything about school buses, we were sitting in the back of the bus, so you can see where this is pretty much quickly going. So we were at busy time, slow, going through a town where this traffic was very, very slow. So the minute he spit on me, I snapped. All I can remember is I pulled his shirt over his head, I punched him in the face, I kneed him in the stomach, and I opened the back door and I threw him off the back of the bus. Closed it back and sat down. That was it. Legit, that was it. Yeah, and mind you, this kid was picking on me for all those years, basically, before I actually stood up for myself. And it finally took him spitting on me for me to actually do something about it. And my grandmother knew about this, and some of the people at the school knew about this stuff too, but they just let it go, basically, because the Maroons, even though the Maroons were seen as elders in Jamaica, some Jamaicans kind of sort of, have a problem with Maroons. So I'm guessing his family was one of those group of people. So yeah, I literally opened the back door, threw him out the back of the bus, and imagine the bus wasn't really moving. It was only going about a mile and a half an hour, basically, because we were stuck behind somebody. But I literally tossed him out the bus, closed the door back, and an irony to that, before the bus driver even got to look up and heard the buzzer go off, basically, the door was already shut, and I was sitting there like this. I ain't just throwing that nigga off the back of the bus. And that's, so what happened with that is eventually they did an investigation, the bus driver corroborated my story, this, that, and the other. Unfortunately, the school said, well, he could have handled that a lot better. And my grandmother goes, he spit on him. I'm shocked he let him go this damn long, basically, before he actually did anything. Well, the school said, well, we understand that, but imagine this kid kicked me, kicked me, punched me, slapped me, stupid shit like that. It took him spitting on me in first half of second grade for me to actually do something about it, basically. So you can imagine the level of patience you would have to have for me to actually go that far. So yeah, eventually, the school decided that, well, he can't ride the bus no more, so he has to literally like walk to school, or find transportation to school basically. At that point in time, I actually walked to school every morning, which was some serious miles. I would walk most of the way, and I would catch the bus some of the way, basically. Yeah, but eventually my grandmother said, we're moving to Costa Rica, and it's pretty much a wrap. And I eventually went to school there, which was a whole nother group of problems that I had to learn, unfortunately, with the colorism. But yeah, that's basically it. That's how I got from that's how I went from Jamaica to Costa Rica, basically. And I pretty much finished out the rest of my school years in Costa Rica, except for high school. I came to America for high school, to try to forge some type of relationship with my mother, because that's one of the questions that's actually on the list too. Well, how did I end up in America in high school? Basically, I came back to forge some type of relationship with my mother that I didn't have, basically, and I was trying to actually make the effort, basically. And I don't know if it was just me being a patient person, or me being like a product of my environment and the people I grew up with, basically, that made me want to do it. But it ended up really not panning out that well, and I ended up still not really having a very good relationship with my mother. I mean, I love her dearly, and if she gets into trouble, I'm there. But as far as spending consistent time with her, I don't really see myself doing it unless I'm dropping off one of my children to go visit her, basically. Outside of that, yeah, me and my mother have a good working, not really working, but we have a decent relationship as far as that. But I don't think I can spend large amounts of time with her, basically. Outside of that, yeah.